It's late at night. The forest around you is eerily silent, and the only thing standing between you and a horde of ravenous monsters is a flimsy wall and a few flickering torches. You can feel the tension in the air as you prepare for what's coming. Suddenly, the ground shakes, and thousands of glowing eyes pierce the darkness. Before you know it, your walls are under siege, and survival feels like a distant dream. Welcome to Age of Darkness, Final Stand, a game that doesn't just challenge you. It makes you fight tooth and nail for every victory. This isn't just another strategy game. It's a brutal, high-stakes experience that blends base building, resource management, and survival in a dark fantasy world. If you've ever played They Are Billions or love the thrill of defending against impossible odds, you're in the right place. Let's dive into what makes this game a must-play, or maybe a must-avoid if you're not ready for the challenge. At its core, Age of Darkness is a real-time strategy game that drops you into a post-apocalyptic medieval world overrun by horrifying creatures called the Veil. Your mission is simple on paper: build a base, gather resources, and defend it from waves of increasingly brutal enemies. The real twist? The darkness itself is alive, hiding dangers that can end your game if you're not careful. Every decision you make, whether it's where to place a building or how to allocate your resources, can mean the difference between survival and annihilation. The gameplay loop is all about balancing three critical elements: expansion, defense, and resource management. Expansion is tempting because it gives you access to more resources, but it's also risky. Every time you push into the darkness, you risk waking up dormant monsters that can overrun your settlement. On the flip side, playing too cautiously means you'll fall behind in resources, leaving your defenses weak. It's a constant juggling act that keeps you on edge. Defending your base isn't just about slapping down some walls and hoping for the best. The enemies in Age of Darkness don't mess around. During the infamous Death Nights, waves of thousands, yes, thousands, of monsters swarm your base. It's not just a spectacle. It's a heart-pounding test of your strategy and preparation. The game uses a special tech called Swarm Tech, which allows up to 70,000 enemies to appear on screen at once. Watching that many creatures rush at your walls is both awe-inspiring and horrifying. Resource management is equally critical. Gold, wood, food, and stone are your lifelines. Without them, you can't build, upgrade, or train troops. Every decision comes with trade-offs. Do you spend gold on more soldiers, or save it for better defenses? Do you expand for resources, or focus on fortifying your current territory? There's no right answer, but the wrong choice can leave you vulnerable when the next wave hits. Combat in Age of Darkness is where the game truly shines. It's not just about building an army, it's about using it wisely. You'll need to balance your forces with soldiers to hold the line, archers for range support, and special hero units to turn the tide in critical moments. Heroes like Edric, Aelys, and Vizargo each bring unique abilities to the battlefield, letting you adapt your strategy to the challenges you face. Edric is a tank who excels at soaking up damage. Aelys uses fire magic to deal devastating area damage, and Vizargo is a stealthy assassin who can take out key targets. Choosing the right hero for your playstyle can make or break your game. So, what makes Age of Darkness so addictive? Let's be real, this game is ridiculously hard, and that's exactly why it's so addictive. The challenge is what keeps you coming back for more. Each wave you survive feels like a monumental achievement, and each mistake teaches you something new. The satisfaction of seeing your defenses hold against a swarm of 50,000 enemies is like nothing else in gaming. You'll find yourself celebrating every small victory, whether it's surviving a particularly brutal death night or finally figuring out the perfect layout for your base. The atmosphere is another standout feature. The world of Age of Darkness is dripping with dark fantasy vibes. The shadows feel alive, the flickering torchlight adds a sense of unease, and the monsters are genuinely terrifying. The sound design ramps up the tension, with eerie growls and the deafening roars of incoming waves. It all comes together to create a world that feels alive and absolutely deadly. But no game is perfect, and Age of Darkness has its flaws. The difficulty, while rewarding for some, can feel punishing for others. The learning curve is steep, and the game doesn't hold your hand. You'll likely spend your first few matches getting absolutely destroyed, which can be frustrating if you're not ready for it. The resource grind, while satisfying for some players, can feel repetitive over time. Gathering wood, stone, and gold, building defenses, and fighting waves of monsters becomes a loop that might not appeal to everyone. The story, while intriguing, takes a back seat to the gameplay. You'll uncover bits of lore about the Veil and the forces behind the apocalypse, but the narrative is more about atmosphere than a detailed plot. If you're someone who loves diving into a rich, character-driven story, you might find this aspect lacking. That said, the developers have shown a commitment to improving the game with regular updates. They've introduced new content, balanced mechanics, and addressed player feedback, making it clear that they're in it for the long haul. The community is also a bright spot, with players sharing strategies, guides, and tips to help newcomers survive the chaos. If you're ever feeling stuck, there's a wealth of knowledge out there to tap into. So, is Age of Darkness, Final Stand worth your time and money? If you're a fan of high-stakes strategy games that challenge you at every turn, absolutely. It's a game that rewards patience, planning, and perseverance. The feeling of surviving a death knight or outsmarting a massive horde is second to none. But if you prefer a more relaxed, forgiving experience, this might not be the game for you. The best way to approach Age of Darkness is with an open mind and a willingness to fail. This isn't a game that hands you victories on a silver platter. It makes you earn every win, and that's what makes it so satisfying. Whether you're a seasoned RTS fan or just someone looking for a new challenge, there's a lot to love here. Just don't forget to light your torches and double-check your walls. After all, the darkness isn't going to wait for you to be ready.